Hello, world!
Now what?
What? So, what are we doing?
I wanted to talk about. God, I look bad. Things.
Why didn't you fix your hair for this video?
I'm sorry. I just got done editing, and I just uploaded a video. I gotta make my other. Wow.
So while she's getting that done, I want to tell you guys what we did today. We did a whole lot of nothing. We went to the
I did a whole lot of work, sir. I made a new intro, a new outro, and I edited a video, and I just uploaded it, and I just posted a photo on Instagram.
Well, she sat on the couch all day, so.
Working.
I cooked her some food. We had a leg day workout because it is Monday after all, and Mondays are leg day. Yes?
Yes. So, I wanted to take this time for us to tell you about our year, because if you've been watching my channel for the last few months, then you've only been seeing our year from August, I think. The end of August is when, sometime in August, is when we started posting onto this channel. Oh, my glasses distracting? I'm wearing them to cover my face. What did we do last New Year? Did we do anything? I don't remember. Yeah, I stayed at your house, remember? Because that's when we lost the soju glass. And we finished the soju. And then we had that gin or something.
Oh. So starting from last New Year,
2017 going to 2018.
we spent, I don't think we stayed up until midnight.
Yeah,
that's
I think,
irrelevant.
I don't know. We probably
hung
did.
out. I was living in Colombia. I was finishing up my senior year at fourth year at USC, and Emily was working at
A CrossFit gym. I was the barista. No, I was the barista.
Yeah.
Barista. I made like 2 pour-over coffees a week.
At a CrossFit gym.
A CrossFit gym.
I was coaching at a CrossFit gym.
And I was living with my mother.
Yeah. I think this is like when I decided in January or February.
It was the beginning of January.
I was wanting to go to chiropractic school.
So, what happened was, I don't know if Kevin ever talked about this. So, my mom had been bugging me for months to start going to Maximize Living, as what was the name of it at the time, where she was going to the chiropractor. At that time, I was going to Health Source Chiropractic. And she's like, well, I'm paying for you to go to the chiropractor, so guess what? You and Kevin are going to go to this dinner with me at Trevinia's, and you just listen. It was okay. It wasn't enough food. It was gluten-free.
I thought it was pretty good.
Anyhow, well, what I got was good. It just wasn't enough food. So we went, and Dr. Tim talked his talk, and I was like, wow, that makes sense, because the way my mom was explaining things just sounded a little crazy. But the way he explained it made sense. You know, there's interference because your nerves go through your spinal cord, or you could explain this better than I could. This isn't about that. We'll have another video about that. How was this going through your head? Because I had no idea. I think Kevin had briefly mentioned it, that he was considering maybe going to chiropractic school.
So, when I get interested in something, I like dive in 100%. I get a little obsessive about it. And I was actually researching it by myself for like 6 months prior to that time. And I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to share an interest if I didn't know if it actually what I was going to do. You know, I felt like that was like a waste of time. But I was researching it anyway, and I was like reading everything about it and like science behind it and all that good stuff. And I had been in the chiropractic care before in high school due to some injuries. And I wanted to go into that dinner and talk to a doctor and just see like what I could learn from him and his his experience behind it, and just have a conversation. And I spoke to him. I almost didn't, but Emily's mom brought him over, and we just talked. And I was like, "Hey, I might do this like for real." And he honestly talked me into it in a way. And then I think the next day or 2 days after that, I applied. to one school, which was Life University.
Which is where he is right now.
Yeah,
Imagine if you hadn't said anything to him.
Yeah, I know. Who knows? And then after that, it was a cascade of
just one thing after another.
Yeah, so
that's what made our entire year. That was basically what this whole year consisted of.
The big bulk of it was
just
so
chiropractic.
Yeah. And it was a very life-changing year. We look back at this video later down the road, we're going to say 2018 was a huge year because it was just a roller coaster, you know. I was supposed to start school in October, but I got a phone call and one of the administrator...
Like the middle-ish of June, because I think it was 2 weeks before school was going to start.
Yeah. 2 or 3 weeks. No, it was a month. It was a month. When I was joking about.
Oh, okay.
So it was month. Oh, okay. Rewind. So I was supposed to start school in October, and it was in June, and it was the beginning of June, and I get a call from an administrator to say, "Hey, I got accepted at this point," and they were like, "Hey, do you want to start in the summer quarter instead of the fall quarter?" And I was like, I don't know. I was like, when does it start? And they're like, oh, it starts in like 3 weeks.
July, yeah.
Yeah, in July. And I was like, I can't do that. But like, I didn't say no.
I will never forget us talking about it. This was like 2 or 3 weeks before you ended up moving.
Yeah, you were laying in bed.
I remember being in my room and you were like, let's do it. Like, let's do it. And I was like, yeah, LOL. Let me go to work and be like, hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. You have no idea. They at that point, they didn't know that I was moving yet.
I was just kidding at this point. I was like, hey, let's do it. I knew that it was going to stress her out a little bit. And I was bluffing her a little bit. And I was like, let's just do it. Like, why not? We can just start early.
YOLO.
And let's do it. And
I was like knee deep in my favorite job. I had already started working at Aladia's, and I just started bartending.
Yeah, you were loving it. You got a lot of friends there.
Yeah, best job.
And I think the week after that, we were like, hey, let's just go look at apartments and see what the prices are going to be like in October. And we went to go look at apartments. We drove all the way down here, and we looked at a couple. We looked at a lot, actually.
We started looking in, like, April.
Like, just online. But this was the first time we were going to see him in person.
Yeah, we went down with my mom the first time. We looked in Marietta, and we were like, what? Like, are you sure you're going to do this? Because I don't know if we can live in this area.
Yeah, we looked at some sketchy places.
And it was just not...
It looked nice online.
Yeah, that shit looked real nice online. And then me and you went down another time when we were looking more in the Kennesaw area.
Yeah.
And we had no idea about this, where we live right now. And
we found a place.
That was in March or April, because I remember looking at a picture when we went to Marietta Square. And then, we found one place that we really, really liked, and we were going to sign there. After we had decided it's so much cheaper to move in July than to wait until, like, we were going to move still, like, August or September.
Yeah.
But it was, like, hundreds of dollars difference.
Per month.
For rent, yeah. So they were like, it'd probably be cheaper to just move. And then, so we're like, okay, fine. Kevin called them, like, in the parking lot, was like, hey, can I start? And this point, it was, like, almost 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks prior to starting in the summer. I was like, hey, do you guys still have a spot left? And they're like, yeah, sure, come on in. And we're like, all right, let's freaking do this.
So we applied for the apartment. And then we were, like, waiting because they had to do, like, our credit checks and stuff. Yeah. And I had something on my credit report. One thing was false, so I disputed it and it was taken care of. The other thing was, like, unpaid, like, $50 from an old apartment from, like, 3 years ago.
Yeah, you didn't even know about it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I was just like, fuck that place. It was Aspire. I was like, fuck that place. I'm not going to pay. And, sorry I'm moving so much. And so I just never paid it. And I was like, it was $50. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But they denied us from that apartment. And it was a huge apartment. It was probably 1.5 times the size.
Huge,
it was 900 square feet. This apartment is under 700 square feet.
Oh, I don't know.
I think. Yeah. And so we were like, I was like crying in the middle of work.
Yeah.
Because it was my fault.
We were waiting. So the reason why she found out at work is because I was over there, and if I was at your house or at my house and I got the call saying we got denied, I would have never let you know until you got out of work.
Yeah, they called me though.
Yeah.
And so I got Kevin to call them back and be like, "What?"
Because we were expecting a call like that day in that hour, so we were like together, and we got denied, and I was like, "Oh crap! I'm about to start school in like a week and a half or like 2 weeks.
Nowhere to live.
Nowhere to live. Like, what do I do?" And I tried to contact the administrators, and they're like, "We can't really help you at the moment with as far as housing goes."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, like, I need to go." She couldn't get off work, at that last minute.
Yeah.
So I think
it was like the next day. Yeah.
The next day, I didn't know like where I was going, but I drove down here.
At like 5 o'clock in the morning, because with traffic and stuff, you gotta, if you're gonna leave South Carolina and come here, you gotta leave really early.
No, prior to that, like that night we got denied, I contacted this place, which is, I'm not gonna say the name.
The apartment that we live in now.
The apartment that we live in now. I contacted this place, and there was a guy named Nate, and he said, "Hey, yeah, come on, like let's get a tour," and it looked good on the website, and he was very nice. And I said, one thing is, I saw on your website that if I don't have an income, my cosigner has to make 3 times
the monthly rent.
The yearly rent. And I was like, my parents don't make that much.
That's a lot. We pay just over $1,000 a month for rent. So that's, I don't know, 3 times 50.
So let's say 30.
It's a lot.
So let's say that's $36,000 a year, just to round down. Multiply that by 3. That's a lot of money. And I was like, my parents don't make that much. But
no, it was 6 times. You had to make 3 times. Your guarantor had to make 6 times the monthly rent, because it was like an astronomical amount. Yeah,
it was a lot. And what was it? And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, can my student loans and like scholarships and whatever count as my income, so I don't need a cosigner?" Because that would have worked. And he said, "We'll see." I was like, "Okay." So I went down the next day, and I looked at a bunch of apartments, and I came here.
And we were still wondering, like, would it even be worth looking, because we don't even know if we'd be able to afford it.
Exactly. And I toured this place. I was like, man, I really like this place. It's gated. It's very clean. It's in a very newly like updated area. So there's like restaurants everywhere. There's stores everywhere. It's very nice. And I was like, man, this would be like the perfect place. And I toured this place, and he didn't tell me yet that if I could use my my school money as income. And when we got out of the apartment, I was like, "Hey, dude, I really like this place, but I don't know if I can do it as my income, like my school stuff." He said, "Oh, I already sent you that email saying you were approved." And I said, "What?" But apparently he emailed me like literally right before I walked in the door.
Yeah.
Saying that I was approved. So we did the credit check and everything. And he said, "You probably don't have anything to worry about as long as like you weren't like convicted of felony and blah blah blah." And I think the next day I came back, and the next day like he called us or something, and sent us an email saying we got approved, and he can just send us the documents online. And it sounds very simple, but that was the most
stressful like. Few weeks, few days,
and at this point it was like a week or week and a half before school starts, and I was like, I gotta move like really really soon.
You moved like what, 2 days before orientation started?
So I couldn't afford my U-Haul truck yet. So I drive a Kia Forte,
and I have a Elantra.
Hyundai Elantra. And I was like, how do I move all this stuff?
We have 2 compact cars.
So I moved here. Did I move here by myself?
No, I came with you on the 3rd. We filled up both of our cars.
So,
and you had your roll-up bed in
yes.
the passenger seat.
We couldn't fit a mattress or like a dresser or anything. It was just clothes and bathroom stuff and like kitchen stuff.
That was it.
And I had a bed topper, the member from bed topper, and I rolled that up and I had that in my car, and it was just like stacked full. 2 days before orientation, came here, unloaded everything. It was bare. Like I was living out of my living room basically from a suitcase, and I was sleeping on the floor on the bed topper.
That was what 2 or 3. That was I think 2 or 3 weeks before I moved. I moved at the end of July because I wanted to work a few more weeks and get some more money, and I just wasn't mentally ready to just drop and go like that with my job.
So when I got my school money back, I went back to South Carolina. Got a U-Haul, got her, and Gracie, Leo.
No, I had to come and get you.
Oh, did you?
Because we didn't drive your car. Cause
I had to
come down like on a Friday, I think. I vlogged it all. I'll link that video. It's very poor quality. I didn't realize that for YouTube you had to hold your phone like this, not like this. So, not the best quality. But, it was when we first started vlogging. And I had to drive down. Kevin got home from school, and I had my car packed, of course. And then the next morning, we drove back, or that night, I think it was. We drove back, and then, like, the next day or whatever, we filled up the U-Haul. Kevin drove the U-Haul.
Oh, it was
I
so
drove
stressful.
my car. I had Leo crying the whole time, but...
Yeah, at this point, I've only driven through, like, Atlanta traffic twice.
We'd never taken the bypass, either.
Yeah.
We'd only gone through downtown.
Driving talking about the U-Haul. We were supposed to get a 15-footer.
Yeah.
And they got it wrong, or they didn't have any.
They couldn't have it on time.
They couldn't transport it there in time, and we really needed it. And they gave me a 20-foot truck, and I never really driven a big truck before. So that was a hot mess, and they having to drive through like Atlanta bypass traffic.
It
was so stressful. And when I got the truck and I went to my storage unit in South Carolina, I forgot my storage key here in Georgia, and all my family was there to like help me load up
sweating
stuff.
Yeah, that was quite a day.
And I went to the office and I was like, hey, can you guys like rip this open or like do something? Do you guys have a spare key? They're like, no, we don't. I was like, what do I do? I have my truck already. I need to return it tomorrow. I don't have my key in the state. And thankfully, thank you God, the property manager was there drilling locks that day.
He was on his way, yeah.
Yeah, he only comes once a week, and that was the day that he was supposed to do that. So we just had to wait like an hour. And he showed up with like a drill, and he just popped that
in
thing
like
open.
2 seconds. He was like, "All right, y'all have a good day."
Oh, guys, the anxiety. Let me tell you.
That was probably more stressful.
And I'm very forgetful. And at that moment, when I got my keys out of my pocket and I was trying to find the key for that lock and I couldn't find it, my heart just dropped. We got through all that. And she moved here, and things have been great.
We've definitely had times of no money, like right now.
Yeah, I mean, money's tight, but
we have a beautiful place.
Yeah, this place is great. I never like loved an apartment so much.
Yeah.
And I think it adds
it's definitely a lot nicer than my last apartment, and I loved my last apartment.
Yeah, it's a small apartment, but it's so homey. And I think it adds to the fact that like, you know, you're living with me now.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of doing life together.
In our community, I don't, knock on wood, but it feels very safe. Granted, it is gated most of the time. But I feel very safe in our neighborhood. We know everyone and, like, whose car is whose. Like, we don't know all of our neighbors, but we know, like, what cars are always there. And then, like, when there's new cars, we're like, oh, who's visiting? And, like, we see the same people all the time. We now know, like, several people around the neighborhood and stuff like that.
That was, like, the big part. I'll always remember that, the feeling and, like, the craziness of those couple weeks, couple months. But now I'm about to start my third quarter at chiropractic school. Emily has a fantastic job. great bosses. That's talk about that.
Yeah.
She's
So.
just like simple.
I mean, I got one job. One, y'all know I worked at Ted's. This other job, the job that I have right now. So it was like 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago. Okay, so we had heard about this person from our previous chiropractor in South Carolina that got Kevin to start at Life. This person was like, oh, this great chiropractor. You got to go see him when you go move. And Emily's going to go see this guy. It's going to be great. And I was like, I can't afford a chiropractor by myself. Thanks, though. And I was trying to find another job from working at Ted's. And then this guy, this chiropractor, posted on Facebook or whatever that he was wanting someone to do a screening, and like a couple of days before that I had found a chiropractic office on Indeed, and I like applied, and I was telling my student chiropractor, this is long-winded, I'm sorry, about it. He was like, oh, it was this chiropractor. And so then he posted about a screening, and it was that chiropractor, and I was like, Kevin, you have to go, and you gotta put a good word in, and like ask him if he wants to hire me, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I wanted to get as many screening as possible, just so I can learn how to communicate chiropractic, and just get to share that with as many people as I can. And it was just a great opportunity. And I don't remember what vlog it was, but I vlogged like how it was.
I'll link it up.
Yeah, right after. And everything went well, and I got to talk to him, and I asked him if he needed a CA, chiropractic assistant, and he said yeah. And one thing led to another. She's working there now.
Yeah. It took a month.
Yeah. It took a long time.
But all in God's timing, it was perfect timing. Yeah, and I'm so glad to be there now. Like, this job is so, like, invaluable. Is that the right word?
Is very valuable. I don't know.
But I think you can't put a value to it. Like, this job means so much to us and, like, our future. Because they're training me not only as my position and as a future office manager and as a future business owner of running the same type of office.
I'm really thankful that you're working really hard, too.
Yeah. Happy to. Yeah, I guess those were really the biggest things that happened this year.
This video is getting pretty long.
Oh.
So, that's about it. That was our year. Grace is very healthy.
Yeah, she's by far the healthiest she's ever been.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever noticed those 2 little bald spots on her, like, butt cheeks, I guess. They're almost completely gone. She is, if you've ever seen, like, blue pits, they are velvet, soft. She is getting there. Like, she is by far the softest and the healthiest.
Yeah, she had a lot of skin problems. It's, like, non-stop. But now it's slowly getting under control. She doesn't...
I think she had constant yeast infections.
Yeah, she doesn't lose sleep, scratching, and we don't have to... She doesn't, like, make herself bleed, scratch herself up. I think she's the healthiest.
She's happiest. She's so smart. She learned how to shake in, like, 2 days?
Yeah, it's 2 days.
Paw, whatever.
I think that's a wrap. Yeah. We're going to have some pizza tonight.
Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah.
So excited. We probably won't stay awake for midnight.
It ain't worth.
Oh, we might, but I doubt it.
We don't have cable, so we can't, like, see
I think you can stream it online, but anyways, it's not important. Who cares about the ball dropping?
But that's 2018 from us.
Yeah.
I
hope you all had a wonderful year.
Yeah. If you guys want, comment down below what was your biggest struggle in 2018 and how you guys solved it. And
what was your biggest accomplishment in 2018? What are your goals for 2019?
Anything. One day.
One day. It's all foggy from my nose.
All right. We're out.